Ah, the fossils. Yeah, I love fossils. I had a fossil collection when I was young. All sorts of things. I mean, it's like the Earth's scrapbook, isn't it? Incredible. This one, and that whole box of them, was given to me by a lady called Mary Anning. I visited Mary twice. I mean, once when I was doing an exhibition about children in STEM, and then this time for the Women in STEM exhibition. She's an incredible woman, and she started so young. Her first discoveries were when she was 11 years old. I don't know if you know Mary's story, but unfortunately, as a young girl, her father died, and she and her brother had always collected fossils with her dad, and they'd sold them to tourists for a few pennies. But when her dad died, the family lost its main source of income, and so her and her brother Joseph started collecting fossils and selling them as a way of trying to pay the family's way. And Mary was an incredible young lady. She was fairly self-taught. She was a woman from a poor background. There are so many reasons why she shouldn't have succeeded. And yet she did. And she became one of the leading experts in fossils. She was even invited by the gentlemen scientists of London to come and talk with them. And when I visited her for the Women in STEM exhibition in 1844, she was just about to be visited in her little shop by the King of Saxony, who was going to buy an ichthyosaur skeleton from her. In fact, it was that exact ichthyosaur skeleton that Mary had wanted to give me to take back to the museum. I have to be careful not to mess with history, and I knew she was going to sell it for £15 the next day, so I had to say no, even though the bosses at the museum would have been so happy with me bringing a full ichthyosaur skeleton back. But anyway, Mary and her life. It's an incredible story. Like I said, her father died when she was young, and she and her brother started collecting fossils. And when she was 11, her brother Joseph found a skeleton, a skull, and he wanted to sell the skull. But Mary, one of her main traits is the fact that she was tenacious. She would persevere. She kept on looking, and she said to her brother, no, if we found the skull, the rest of that creature is inside the rock and we need to wait. And she did. She waited a full 12 months until she had found the entire skeleton. And she sold that ichthyosaur skeleton, one of the first, for £23. Now, it doesn't sound like much to you, I'm sure, but her family was in debt to the tune of about £120. That's, in your day, maybe £9,000. She paid off 1/5 of her family's debt with that one item. Not bad for a 12-year-old girl. This time when I met her, she took me fossil hunting. I mean, the first time when she was young, we just talked a little bit about fossils and I didn't take anything from her. I didn't want her to lose her passion so early on. But this time she took me fossil hunting. And boy, is it dangerous fossil hunting with Mary. I mean, in there is a top hat that she used to wear to protect her from rockfall. And she had a little dog who she trained, Trey. And she'd walk out with Trey along the cliffs. And if she saw something that she felt needed digging, she'd ask him, she'd trained him. And he would sit and wait by that spot while she went back and got her tools so that she could dig out the fossils. So when Mary and I went, I realised how dangerous it was. I mean, if you visit the area where Mary lived, the Jurassic Coast now, you're not allowed to take fossils away. It's not just for preservation of the site. It's for the preservation of life too. And poor little Trey, he paid the price once. There was a rockfall which narrowly missed Mary, but unfortunately poor little Trey was killed. But Mary was such an incredible woman. Do you know what she found? She found the first British pterodactyl. And she also found the first full plesiosaur skeleton in Britain. She's incredible. And she used to sell these. She used to call them verteberries. We call them vertebrae now. She also was one of the people studying coprolite and one of the first to work out what it was. Dinosaur poo. And do you know what else she worked out? There were these lovely squid-like creatures that used to swim through the ocean. And inside them, just like a squid or an octopus in your time, they carried ink to squirt at their prey or to squirt at other things that were attacking them. And Mary worked out that if you took a belemnite fossil and you dug out the ink very carefully and you mixed it with water, you could create ink that you could still write with. So you can write with ink that is millions of years old. How incredible is that? And Mary was such a fascinating, fascinating woman. Definitely worth looking into.